everyone, welcome to Amanda's Booktopia. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. And today, I'm doing something that I haven't done before. This is technically, most people call this 12 books from 12 friends. However, I have an extra. So I'm calling it 13 books from 13 friends. The reason why that ended up that way is because I asked a couple of extra people for backups in case someone didn't get back to me. But it ended up being one of them hasn't responded, but the other one did. So technically this is 13 books. And there's only 12 months in a year. So what I'm going to have to do is throw in an extra book somewhere in one of the months, which is okay. I don't mind doing that. But I'm excited to do this. I got a bunch of friends who gave me all kinds of recommendations. Some of them I do not own, but I do have either an audiobook or an ebook for it that I downloaded. So that way I could get right to it when it's time for me to read it. So my very first book, anyone who has a channel, I will also link in the description so you can check out their channel. Anyone who doesn't is just a friend that gave me a recommendation. So the first book was recommended from my friend Bethany, and she recommended Renegades by Marissa Meyer. And I have not really read anything from this author yet. I started Cinder, but I never finished it. However, I've heard really good things about Renegades. So thank you, Bethany, for this recommendation. I'm looking forward to trying a book from her that I haven't started. And I haven't read anything from this author yet. And she's really popular. So I'm excited to give this one a go. All I know about Renegades is that it's about superheroes. And which is not only what I gravitate towards, but I'm willing to give it a go. And I got an audiobook of it, so I will be listening to that. And then the next book that was recommended to me was from Melita and the Books. And she recommended The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. From what I understand that she told me, it's like a dystopian story with a little romance, with a little bit of aliens. And normally, I love dystopian books, but I'm not normally a huge alien fan. But I am definitely willing to give this a go. I downloaded it on audio, so I will be listening to this at some point during the year. And I'm looking forward to seeing what I think, because she said she loved this book. So I'm looking forward to checking it out for myself. And then the next book was recommended to me from Clint from Reads Readers, one of my besties. He recommended I read North is a Night by Emily Rath. And I am very excited to read this. It's a fantasy romance sapphic story. And this copy that I have is absolutely gorgeous. And the actual hardback itself, absolutely stunning. And under the cover, and the dust jacket itself has a reversible jacket, which is really awesome. So I am excited to give this one a go. Not sure which month I will fit this one into, but at some point, my plan is to read it. Obviously. Because I really do want to read this, and it sounds really, really interesting. And all I know is fantasy romance and sapphic. That is all I know. I plan to go into this mostly blind. So I'm excited to dive on in and see if I love it as much as Clint does. And then the next recommendation that I have that came from my friend Lenny is a book I own physically, and that is Heartless by Elsie Silver. I read Flawless by her, really enjoyed it, and gave Flawless 4 stars. I just need to continue the series. So I am excited to continue with Heartless and see where the story takes me. So thank you, Letty, for recommending this. I am definitely looking forward to reading more romance. And then the next book we have is from my friend Liz. She recommended that I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. I have an ebook of this, and I have read absolutely nothing from Emily Henry yet. Absolutely nothing. She's one of the most popular authors right now, and I have not read a single book of hers. I once had a physical copy of Bee Tree, but I ended up unhauling it, as well as People We Meet on Vacation. I unhauled both of those, and because I was not interested at the time. I don't know if it's the hype or if I'm just not really interested in Emily Henry. I don't know what it is. I've never attempted any of her books. But since I have an ebook, A Funny Story, I figured why the hell not? Let's give it a shot because it's topping everybody's 2024 lists of their best books. My bestie Kaylani read it. It was her top book. I think Lindsay read it, and she also really enjoyed it. I think it was one of her top books. So I am excited to finally read an Emily Henry and see if I like this author because I have not attempted anything. And she's all over BookTube. So I'm looking forward to at least trying one and see what I think. So we will see what happens with that. And then the next book that was recommended to me was from Lindsay from She Is Booked and Busy. This is my special edition copy of Guild by Raven Kennedy. I also own a paperback. I will be reading the paperback version, not this one, because this is a special edition and it's too gorgeous to read, so I don't want to get anything on it. So I cannot wait to finally start the Plated Prisoner series. Everyone has been raving about this series on BookTube. Everywhere I turn, everyone seems to love it. And people say the story gets better as the series goes on. So I am very excited to see what my thoughts will be on this series. And I love retellings, and I know this is a key minus retelling. So I cannot wait to finally dive into this book and see what the hype is all about. So I am very excited. And then the next book that was recommended to me was from Jess from Honest Fiction. And that is Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moz. She was the first person that I saw talk about this book. And it sounded so interesting. And then I started seeing other people pick this book up. And people seem to be loving it. And I guess this is like a Hercules style retelling. And it's in a Spartan War Academy. And it sounds really interesting. So I'm very excited to finally try Blood of Hercules and see if I can love it as much as Jess does. And so this is very exciting. I cannot wait to finally get into this book. I'm hoping this will be one of my books that I get to sooner, like early this year. I don't want to wait too long on this one. But I'm very excited to dive in and see if I love it just as much as Jess does. And then the next book that was recommended to me is an ebook from Becky from Bex Reads. And that is The Sirens Mutiny by Jessica S. Taylor. And I had no clue what this one was. I had to look it up on Amazon. And from what I understood, it's like a mermaid fantasy romance story. And I'm like, okay, I love mermaids. And you don't see many stories with mermaids in them. Yeah, it's fantasy romance. So I am very excited to give this one a go because Becky said she really enjoyed it. And I am excited to read this one. I have this on ebook that I downloaded onto my Kindle. So I'm very excited to try a mermaid fantasy romance because I have not read very many of those. I know there are a few out there that I haven't yet read. This will be my first mermaid one. So I am very excited to dive into the story. I think it's going to be fun. And then the next recommendation came from my bestie Dana. And that is Beneath a Scarlet Sky by Mark T. Sullivan. I just started this today on audio while I was at work. And I am liking it so far. And this will be an audiobook that I will continue throughout the month of January. So you'll get my thoughts on that probably when the month is out. But so far, so good. I am enjoying my time. It's really sad, though. definitely check your triggers, because this is historical fiction during World War II, I believe, and it's a I think it mostly takes place in Italy, if I'm not mistaken, and it's very interesting so far. And there's some sad moments, but I am going to continue listening to the audiobook, and I'm hoping I'm going to love it as much as Dana does. So I am very excited. So thank you, Dana, for recommending that. And then the next book I have that was recommended to me from Josh from Bookish Daddy, that is A Shadows Between Us by Trisha Lovenseller. And she's a very popular author on BookTube as well, and I haven't read a single book from her yet. But I own a few, and this is one of them. And I have been wanting to read this for quite some time, and I have not picked it up yet. So I am very much looking forward to reading this one. I haven't read anything from her. And I know there is a sequel. I think it is a sequel. I think the next one is called The Darkness Within Us, I think. But I gotta read this one first before I could get to that one. So I'm excited to try out this one and see if I'm going to love it. Because I am new to this author and I'm looking forward to trying a new author. So I'm looking forward to this fantasy romance, and I think it's going to be a great time. And then the next book that was recommended to me from Crystal from Bookish Books Forever After, something like that. She'll be in the description. But she recommended to me Daughter of the Drowned Empire. She also gifted this book to me. So I definitely need to read it since she recommended it. And she sent me a physical copy. So thank you, Crystal. I am definitely looking forward to reading this. From my understanding, it's like historical fantasy, kind of. And there's a little bit of romance. So I love historical, I love fantasy, I love romance. Put them all together. Sounds like the perfect book. So I am very excited to fit this into this year challenge. So thank you, Crystal. I am definitely looking forward to picking this one up. And then the next book that was recommended to me was from Karina from She Dreams in Words. And that is A Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles. I have read one other book from this author. I think it was Whispers of You that I read, and really loved that book. So I wanted to read more from this author. When Karina recommended this one, I immediately downloaded the ebook. I cannot wait to read Fragile Sanctuary. I hope it's just as good as Whispers of You. I still need to continue the Whispers of You series. I can't remember what that series name is. I'm excited to give more of her books a go. So I did recently get Catherine Cowles' newest book in paperback that my dad just got me yesterday. So I'm very excited to read more from this author and see if I can love them just as much as Whispers of You. So thank you, Karina. I am very excited to read this. And then the last book that we have was recommended to me by Jasmine from Jasmine Sierra. And that is Immortal Dark by Taija Skirma. This was actually in my October TBR, but unfortunately, at that time, I was slumping pretty hard and I did not get to it. So now that she recommended it, I need to read this. Plus, it's a gorgeous edition. I love these sprayed edges. And the end papers are very, very pretty. And then the hardcover itself is really nice. You can see the red foil on it. So I really need to get to this book. I think Jasmine started reading this not that long ago. So I'm very excited. So thank you, Jasmine, for recommending Immortal Dark. I love vampire stories, and I'm very much looking forward to trying this one out. And this was the last book on this list. So that is all the books that I have for this year-long challenge. Of course, since it's 13 books, one month will have an extra book in it. Not sure when that month will be, but at some point, I'll try to fit in an extra. Because it's 13 books and not 12. But thank you so much for stopping by and checking out all the recommendations that I will be reading this year. If you've read any of these, definitely let me know what your thoughts were. And let me know if you're interested in picking up one of these books with me. Maybe we could buddy read. If you're interested, definitely let me know. You can find me on Instagram if you ever want to send me a message if you want to hook up and read any of these books with me. So if you made it this far in the video and you don't feel like being chatty, leave me a... Let's see. What should you leave me to? How about you leave me a sword for both this book and this book, because they both have swords on it. So leave me a sword if you're not feeling chatty. And thank you so much for stopping by. If you like this video, please give me a huge thumbs up. If you want to see more bookish content from me, make sure you smash the subscribe button down below. Now, see you on the next one.